Amazing to talk to you about this film. Obviously, it's a very intelligent script with great actors. So did it feel like that from the start, that you were working on a project that had a very special feel to it?
Yes, I really liked the script, and I lived with it for quite a few years before we tried to make it. I thought it was one of my most accomplished. I thought the balance of humor and sadness was really good. But maybe the fact that it was a woman lead character, and that there was a lot of tragedy amongst the humor, elevated the whole thing to a different kind of place for me. And I didn't want to get any of that wrong or be caricaturish about it, or I wanted to be honest about this tragic story, I guess. But luckily, I was able to get Francis and Woody and Sam to agree to do it, and they're brilliant actors.
Absolutely.
Anyway. So I had to just make sure I didn't screw it up as a director, and hopefully I didn't.
You didn't at all. Francis carries the film and allows it not to be an emotional cliche. I think that was really important to the tone of it.
Yeah.
What did you most appreciate in her as an actress?
It was to be always honest about every single moment, honest about how sad or angry the death of her daughter made her, but almost for her to be able to put that aside and just be driven, to be driven, whether it's by anger or rage or mostly it's just forcing these people to do something about it. And she's kind of like that in real life. She's very strong and forceful, and intelligent. But also in her past films, she's got a great dexterity with humor, but without being overly, not winking to the camera about it, not being smug, or just being intelligent with the humor, to almost throw it away. So I knew, I can't imagine anyone else in the world doing that part.
Yeah, no, she was absolutely great. I'm looking at this billboard and, seeing the cinematography, the setting. So, Ebbing, Missouri, it exists. Did you film there?
No, it doesn't exist. I drove through Missouri quite a lot, but I drove all around the States to try and find the perfect little town. We actually found one in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So most of this is filmed in Silver, North Carolina. But we tried to make it look as much like the Ozarks, which is the kind of mountainous region of Missouri. So yeah, it was a very beautiful. We wanted the feel of a 1970s American movie too, and I think we got that from the place we found.
Yeah, and this is one of the beauties of this film. It's a little bit lost in time. It could have happened 200 years ago, and it would have had the same impact. Do you love those stories that are kind of capsulated into their own drama?
Yes, and hopefully won't age too much. I hope it'll, you'll be able to watch this in 10 or 20 years and still nothing will have changed too much. Even the look of the billboards will be the same, and hopefully the small town won't have changed. Even the choice of cars, they're seemingly from the 60s or 70s, so in 20 years, this might seem like it's a 70s film, which would be great for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, it might seem like a great movie in 20 years as well, which would be great for you. And there's also all those subtle references, to racial integration and to the problems that people face on day-to-day life. How much did they add to the story, to the skeleton of the story, to make it richer, more than a whodunit kind of murder story?
A lot, because it's not really much of a whodunit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much more about her and her search for justice, almost as much as the fact of the justice itself. But I just wanted to be as truthful as possible to a woman in that town now who would be doing something like that. And the racial aspects are part of what her choices would be, especially if she has black friends, which she does in the story. So it's not like the driving force behind it. It's not her main search and drive isn't not really a racial question, but you can't really ignore that's a backdrop these days.
Absolutely. And finally, it's quite difficult to ask about awards that early on. We're still at a film festival, but there is award buzz on the film. So how would you feel about it? A movie that is so perfect in its own ways, to you, I imagine.
I love all the actors in it, and they're my friends, so I'd be thrilled if any of those people were nominated. All of, I mean, Francis, I think, couldn't
Deserves
be better. Yeah, but Sam has never been nominated, and I think he's amazing in it. And Woody is always fantastic too. But we'll see. It would be nice to be around them if they got something.